Robin McLaurin Williams was born on July 21, 1951, in Chicago, Illinois, into a family whose financial stability contrasted with the loneliness he often felt as an only child. His father, Robert Fitzgerald Williams, served as a senior executive at Ford Motor Company, while his mother, Lori McLaurin, was a former model whose sharp wit and warmth left a deep impression on him. The Williams household was spacious, filled with material comforts, yet young Robin often wandered its halls alone, searching for ways to fill the silence. Rather than being consumed by isolation, he transformed those quiet hours into performances for himself, inventing characters and voices that filled empty rooms with life. From a very early age, Robin discovered the transformative power of imagination, a tool that allowed him to both shield himself from loneliness and express an uncontainable energy. Those close to him later remembered a boy who could be intensely shy one moment and explosively funny the next, switching personas with the ease of a magician shuffling cards. His humor was not simply a pastime, but a survival instinct, a way to bridge emotional gaps and to command attention in an otherwise quiet world. By the time he reached high school, Robin had already developed an uncanny gift for mimicry and improvisation, stunning peers with his ability to become someone, or something, else in the blink of an eye. Teachers encouraged his creativity, urging him to channel it toward the stage, where his restless spirit could finally find structure and purpose. Acting classes became the perfect outlet, allowing Robin to discover that performance was not just entertainment, but a calling, a space where he could connect deeply with others while still protecting the vulnerability within. The boy who once filled empty rooms with imaginary friends was beginning to realize that his gift could move audiences far beyond the walls of his childhood home. After graduating from high school, Robin Williams pursued his early studies at Claremont Men's College in California, where he initially considered a career in political science before realizing his true passion lay elsewhere. He transferred to the College of Marin to study theater, immersing himself in the craft that had already become the anchor of his identity. Teachers immediately recognized his natural ability to embody multiple characters, his voice and body transforming effortlessly in ways that few could imitate. His commitment to performance eventually led him to New York City, where he enrolled at the prestigious Juilliard School. There, he trained under the celebrated instructor John Houseman, and alongside classmates like Christopher Reeve, who would become his lifelong friend. Juilliard provided Robin with structure and refinement. But even within those disciplined halls, his uncontainable improvisational energy set him apart. Houseman eventually advised him to focus on comedy, sensing that Robin's true genius lay in his ability to conjure laughter out of thin air. The friendships he formed during this time, particularly with Reeve, grounded him in both loyalty and humanity, shaping his view of life beyond performance. Juilliard was more than an education for Robin. It was the crucible that transformed a gifted young dreamer into a professional artist. It gave him confidence, technical skills, and above all, a stage to channel his restless creativity. By the time he left Juilliard, Robin was no longer just a boy who loved to entertain himself. He was a performer whose extraordinary presence was ready to meet the world. Robin's first major breakthrough came when he stepped on a television screens as Mork, the eccentric alien from the planet Orc, during a guest appearance on Happy Days in 1978. His improvisational brilliance turned what could have been a quirky one-off role into a sensation, captivating audiences with his unpredictability, warmth, and lightning-fast wit. The character's popularity led to the spin-off series Mork and Mindy, where Robin's magnetic energy carried the show for 4 seasons. As Mork, he combined physical comedy, wild vocal shifts, and heartfelt sincerity, creating a performance that felt spontaneous and alive each week. Viewers never knew what Robin might do next, and that sense of unpredictability became his signature. This role gave him national recognition, elevating him from an aspiring actor into a household name almost overnight. Mork and Mindy was more than entertainment. It was a cultural phenomenon that reflected Robin's ability to channel absurdity into universal truths about human life. The alien who studied humanity mirrored Robin himself, an artist both inside and outside the world he observed. For Robin, the role was not just an introduction to fame, but the beginning of a lifelong exploration of how comedy could reveal deeper meaning. With Mork, he announced to the world that he was not just a comedian, but a visionary force, destined to change the landscape of entertainment forever. Alongside his television success, Robin flourished on the stand-up comedy stage, where his artistry reached its purest form. His performances were a whirlwind of improvisation, shifting effortlessly between characters, accents, and impressions with a speed that left audiences breathless. Watching him on stage was like witnessing a storm of creativity. Unpredictable, unstoppable, and electrifying. Unlike scripted comedy, Robin thrived on spontaneity, feeding off the energy of the crowd and weaving current events, politics, personal confessions into his routines. The leap from television and stand-up comedy to the silver screen marked the next chapter in Robin Williams' remarkable evolution as an artist. And it was Good Morning, Vietnam in 1987 that became his cinematic breakthrough. Cast as radio DJ Adrian Cronauer, Robin was given space to unleash his improvisational genius while simultaneously grounding the performance in the brutal realities of war. The film allowed him to be both riotously funny and heartbreakingly human, balancing manic bursts of comedy with moments of profound empathy. His scenes behind the microphone, where he improvised much of his dialogue, became legendary for their spontaneity and originality. Yet the movie was not merely a showcase for his comedic brilliance. It was a revelation of his dramatic capabilities, demonstrating that humor could coexist with moral seriousness. Audiences laughed, but they also confronted the absurdity of conflict, filtered through Robin's compassionate lens. Critics hailed the performance as groundbreaking, and it earned him his first Academy Award nomination for Best Actor, cementing his place as more than a comedian. For Robin, this was a pivotal career-defining moment, as it showed the world that his artistry was not bound to one genre, but capable of straddling comedy and drama with equal power. The success of Good Morning, Vietnam expanded his possibilities as an actor and opened the door to roles that would forever change the trajectory of his career. The early 1990s brought Robin Williams into the hearts of millions of families with roles that showcased not only his comedic brilliance, but also his ability to capture universal themes of love, loss, and belonging. In 1992, he redefined the world of animation with his unforgettable performance as the Genie in Disney's Aladdin, a role that gave animators unprecedented freedom to match his improvisational energy with visual spectacle. Robin's voice work was groundbreaking, transforming the Genie into a whirlwind of impressions, jokes, and heartfelt sincerity, creating one of the most beloved animated characters in cinematic history. Just 1 year later, in 1993, Robin starred in Mrs. Doubtfire, a film that balanced uproarious comedy with the touching story of a father desperate to remain close to his children after divorce. His performance, hidden beneath elaborate makeup, captured the tension between hilarity and heartbreak with effortless grace. Both films became instant classics, reaching audiences across generations and solidifying his reputation as a performer who could make children laugh while moving adults to tears. These projects were not merely entertainment. They reflected Robin's deep understanding of family, identity, and love's transformative power. For audiences, these roles became cultural touchstones, reminding them that humor and tenderness are not opposites, but partners in the human experience. In this period, Robin Williams confirmed his unique ability to create magic across mediums, whether through voice, disguise, or simple sincerity. In 1989, Robin Williams took on a role that would forever redefine his career and expand his artistic reputation far beyond comedy. John Keating in Dead Poets Society. As an unorthodox English teacher at a conservative boarding school, Robin delivered a performance that was both tender and transformative. He did not rely on improvisational fireworks here, but instead leaned into restraint, sincerity, and emotional authenticity. Through his portrayal, Keating became more than a teacher. He became a symbol of inspiration, encouraging students to think freely, embrace individuality, and seize the day. The film resonated deeply with audiences worldwide, particularly young people who saw in Keating a mentor they wished they had. Robin's performance earned him an Academy Award nomination and proved definitively that he was a master of drama as much as comedy. Critics praised the film's balance of poetry and passion, much of which rested on Robin's ability to embody warmth and wisdom. His presence in the role was magnetic yet gentle, commanding attention without overwhelming the story. For Robin, Dead Poet Society was a second pivotal career-defining moment, one that confirmed he could inspire as deeply as he could entertain. This film did not just add to his resume. It shaped his legacy, cementing him as a cultural icon whose influence extended far beyond the boundaries of performance. By the late 1990s, Robin Williams had already proven himself as a comedian, a family entertainer, and a dramatic actor, but it was in 1997 that he achieved the crowning moment of his career with Good Will Hunting. Cast as Dr. Sean Maguire, a compassionate therapist guiding a troubled young genius played by Matt Damon, Robin delivered a performance that was stripped of flamboyance and grounded instead in quiet humanity. His character carried the weight of grief, wisdom, and resilience, and in every scene, Robin infused his words with authenticity that resonated deeply with audiences. Unlike the frenetic improvisations that had made him famous, this role showcased restraint, control, and a profound understanding of emotional truth. His exchanges with Damon, particularly the now-famous park bench scene, revealed his ability to channel empathy in a way that felt both natural and transformative. Critics hailed his performance as one of the most compelling of the decade, praising his capacity to make every line feel lived in and genuine. The Academy recognized this brilliance by awarding him the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, the highest honor of his career. For Robin, the win was not merely a trophy, but validation that he had successfully transcended labels, proving to the world that he was not only a master of comedy, but also one of the great dramatic performers of his generation. The role of Sean Maguire remains a defining point in cinematic history, a reminder that sometimes the greatest performances are not the loudest or the flashiest, but the ones that touch the deepest part of the human soul. As the new millennium began, Robin Williams continued to surprise audiences by taking on roles that diverged sharply from his comedic roots, proving once again that he was an artist unwilling to be confined by expectations. In 2002, he stunned the world with 1 Hour Photo, portraying Cy Parrish, a lonely photo technician whose obsessive attachment to a family revealed the dark corners of human isolation. The performance was chilling in its restraint, a stark contrast to the warmth and humor audiences had long associated with Robin. That same year, he appeared in Christopher Nolan's Insomnia opposite Al Pacino, playing a calculating and morally complex antagonist whose psychological manipulations added tension to an already gripping narrative. These roles demonstrated his fearlessness in exploring the unsettling aspects of humanity, showing that he could unsettle and disturb as effectively as he could inspire or amuse. Critics and fans alike marveled at his versatility, recognizing that the same sensitivity that fueled his comedy also allowed him to embody darkness with startling authenticity. For Robin, stepping into these roles was not a departure, but an expansion of his artistic journey, evidence of his relentless pursuit of truth in all its forms. By embracing characters who embodied loneliness, obsession, and moral ambiguity, he reminded the world that human experience is vast and that laughter and despair often exist side by side. These darker performances, though unexpected, enriched his legacy and secured his place as one of the most multifaceted actors of his generation. Behind the brilliance that illuminated stages and screens, Robin Williams faced profound personal battles that were often invisible to the public eye, struggles that added weight to his laughter and depth to his humanity. Throughout his life, he wrestled with cycles of addiction, at times turning to alcohol and drugs as a way of numbing the pressures of fame and the inner turbulence that fame often concealed. Yet Robin also demonstrated remarkable courage in confronting these challenges, seeking treatment, speaking openly about his struggles, and even using his comedy to shed light on the dangers of substance abuse. His honesty about recovery resonated with many, offering hope to those fighting similar battles. Beyond addiction, he also carried the heavy burden of depression, a condition that could be masked by his boundless energy but never fully erased. Later in life, his suffering deepened when he unknowingly battled Lewy body dementia, a devastating neurological disease that clouded his thoughts and heightened his despair. While the world celebrated his genius, few could grasp the private pain he endured with quiet resilience. Robin's struggles did not diminish his greatness. Instead, they revealed the complexity of a man who gave so much light while often walking through darkness himself. By sharing pieces of his journey, he humanized the conversation around mental health, reminding us that even those who make us laugh the loudest can be fighting battles unseen. His vulnerability became as impactful as his talent, showing that courage is not the absence of suffering, but the willingness to keep giving despite it. While Robin Williams was celebrated for his unmatched artistry, those who knew him often spoke with even greater reverence about his kindness, his generosity, and his unwavering desire to use his fame to help others. He devoted enormous time and energy to charitable causes, from performing in countless benefit shows to personally visiting hospitals where he would lift the spirits of sick children with his humor and warmth. Robin was a long-standing supporter of Comic Relief, the televised charity event that raised millions of dollars for the homeless, where his camaraderie with Billy Crystal and Whoopi Goldberg became legendary. Beyond large-scale efforts, he also made quiet, unpublicized gestures of compassion, often helping individuals in need without seeking recognition. He visited U.S. troops stationed overseas, offering laughter and encouragement in places of hardship and danger, demonstrating his deep respect for those serving far from home. Friends recalled that Robin had an instinct for kindness, often sensing when someone was hurting and finding ways to ease their burden with a joke, a gesture, or simply his presence. His humanitarian spirit was not an act performed for cameras, but a genuine extension of who he was, rooted in empathy and compassion. In a world often dazzled by celebrity, Robin used his platform not to elevate himself, but to uplift others. His charitable work remains an essential part of his legacy, a reminder that the measure of greatness lies not only in talent, but also in how one chooses to touch the lives of others. In the later years of his career, Robin Williams continued to embrace a wide variety of roles, proving his relentless commitment to storytelling and his refusal to be boxed into any single identity as an actor. He appeared in films like Patch Adams, where he balanced humor and heart as a doctor who believed laughter was the best medicine, a role that embodied his personal philosophy about the healing power of joy. He also returned to family favorites, such as Night at the Museum, where his portrayal of Theodore Roosevelt introduced him to yet another generation of children, cementing his timeless appeal. Even in smaller or less critically acclaimed films, his performances never lacked sincerity. He always gave his characters depth, warmth, and dignity. During this time, Robin also explored television again, starring in The Crazy Ones, a short-lived but memorable series that paired him with Sarah Michelle Gellar and reminded audiences of his electric energy in live performance formats. His ability to shift from inspiring dramas to whimsical comedies revealed the creative restlessness that defined his career. He never stopped taking risks, never ceased searching for new ways to connect with audiences, even as personal and health struggles weighed heavily on him. These later roles were not merely a continuation of his career. They were a testament to his resilience and his enduring belief in the importance of laughter and storytelling as vital tools for human connection. Beyond his performances, Robin Williams left an indelible mark on the cultural landscape, influencing generations of comedians, actors, and storytellers who admired his fearless creativity and emotional authenticity. His improvisational style became legendary, inspiring performers to embrace spontaneity and trust their instincts in ways that felt liberating and revolutionary. Many comedians have cited him as a direct influence, noting how his ability to embody countless characters in a single moment expanded the very definition of what stand-up comedy could be. In film, his blending of humor and pathos set a new standard for how comedy and drama could coexist, encouraging writers and directors to explore more complex, layered narratives. But perhaps his greatest cultural contribution was the way he connected people across boundaries of age, culture, and language, creating characters and moments that spoke universally to the human experience. Whether through the Genie's boundless energy, Mrs. Doubtfire's mischievous disguise, or Sean Maguire's heartfelt wisdom, Robin offered audiences more than entertainment. He offered understanding, comfort, and a reminder that vulnerability is a form of strength. Even after his passing, his influence endures in classrooms, comedy clubs, and cinemas worldwide, where his work continues to inspire both laughter and reflection. In this way, Robin Williams' legacy transcends entertainment, becoming a vital part of the shared cultural memory of our time. The final years of Robin Williams' life carried both triumph and tragedy, a bittersweet period that reflected the extraordinary complexity of his journey as an artist and as a human being. Professionally, he remained beloved, continuing to take on roles that allowed him to share his humor and humanity with the world, while personally he confronted health issues that grew increasingly severe. Unbeknownst to many, Robin was suffering from Lewy body dementia, a progressive and cruel neurological disorder that not only impaired his memory, but also caused intense anxiety, confusion, and hallucinations. This condition, which went undiagnosed until after his death, compounded the depression he had long battled, leaving him feeling trapped within a body and mind that no longer felt like his own. Friends and family later revealed how difficult those final months were, as Robin tried to continue working and living with dignity despite the invisible storm raging inside him. His passing on August 11th, 2014, shocked the world, not only because of the immense loss, but also because it revealed the fragility of even the brightest souls. The news reverberated across the globe, sparking conversations about mental health, neurological disease, and the importance of compassion for those who suffer silently. While the circumstances of his death were heartbreaking, they also prompted greater awareness and empathy, leading many to seek help, to listen more deeply, and to recognize the unseen battles that countless individuals endure each day. The aftermath of Robin Williams' passing was unlike that of any other celebrity, for it was not only fans who mourned him, but also entire communities who felt that they had lost a family member, a confidant, and a source of joy. Tributes poured in from fellow actors, comedians, politicians, and everyday people, each recalling how Robin's work had touched their lives in profoundly personal ways. Landmarks across the world were illuminated in his honor, while social media filled with quotes, clips, and memories that celebrated his genius and his humanity. In San Francisco, the city he once called home, fans gathered at the Mrs. Doubtfire house to leave flowers, notes, and tokens of gratitude. Children who had grown up with the Genie wept alongside adults who had been moved by Dead Poets Society or Good Will Hunting, proving that his influence spanned generations. Beyond grief, there was also gratitude, a collective recognition that Robin had given more than most artists could ever dream of giving. His ability to make people laugh while also making them feel deeply had become a rare gift, one that would live on in his work. In the days and months that followed, Robin's legacy was cemented not only as an entertainer, but as a cultural beacon, a reminder of the power of vulnerability, empathy, and laughter in an often challenging world. Looking back on Robin Williams' life, it becomes clear that his legacy cannot be confined to a single role, a single award, or even a single medium, for he was an artist whose spirit spilled into every corner of culture and whose influence continues to ripple through time. His career was defined not just by variety, but by courage, by his willingness to take risks, to play both the clown and the sage, the villain and the hero, the comedian and the philosopher. He was a man of contradictions, able to fill theaters with laughter while carrying private sorrows, to embody childlike wonder while wrestling with profound existential despair. Yet within these contradictions lay his greatest gift, authenticity. Audiences trusted Robin because he gave himself fully to every performance, never holding back, never offering less than his complete self. His improvisational brilliance, his dramatic depth, and his extraordinary compassion blended into a body of work that feels timeless, as relevant today as it was when first performed. His career-defining moments: Good Morning, Vietnam, Dead Poets Society, Aladdin, Mrs. Doubtfire, and Good Will Hunting remain milestones not only in cinema, but in the personal histories of those who found comfort and inspiration in them. For millions, his work was more than entertainment. It was companionship, guidance, and proof that laughter and empathy are universal languages that can unite humanity across boundaries. Ultimately, the story of Robin Williams is not simply the tale of a performer who made us laugh and cry, but of a human being who used his extraordinary gifts to connect us more deeply to ourselves and to one another. His life was marked by breathtaking highs and heartbreaking lows. Yet through it all, he continued to give, continued to create, continued to remind us of the power of vulnerability. Even in his absence, his work endures as a living presence, a voice that whispers wisdom, a laugh that heals wounds, a reminder to seize the day and cherish the fleeting beauty of life. Generations to come will still discover him through his films, still marvel at his comedic genius, still find themselves moved to tears by his dramatic honesty. Robin Williams embodied the paradox of art itself, born from pain, yet capable of bringing immeasurable joy. His story invites us to look beyond the mask of comedy and to honor the human heart that beat beneath it, fragile yet generous, weary yet giving. He showed the world that laughter can coexist with sorrow, that strength can exist in vulnerability, and that true greatness lies not in perfection, but in authenticity. Robin Williams was more than an entertainer. He was a force of nature whose brilliance lit up every stage and every screen he touched, a man whose energy seemed limitless, yet whose heart carried profound depth and vulnerability. Born in Chicago in 1951, he rose from stand-up comedy clubs with his rapid-fire improvisation and his uncanny ability to transform into countless characters in the blink of an eye, leaving audiences breathless with laughter. He became a household name with Mork and Mindy, where his unfiltered creativity redefined what television comedy could be. But it was his leap to film that revealed his astonishing range. From the electric humor of Good Morning, Vietnam, to the inspiring wisdom of Dead Poets Society, from the magical warmth of Aladdin's Genie to the heartfelt devotion of Mrs. Doubtfire, and from the quiet power of Good Will Hunting, which earned him an Academy Award, to the chilling brilliance of 1 Hour Photo and Insomnia, Robin showed the world that comedy and tragedy are two sides of the same human truth. Yet behind his dazzling performances lay personal struggles with addiction, depression, and the cruel weight of Lewy body dementia, challenges he faced with remarkable courage even as he continued to give joy to millions. He was also a humanitarian, using his fame to raise millions for charity, visiting sick children in hospitals, supporting troops overseas, and reminding us that kindness is the most powerful legacy anyone can leave. When he passed in 2014, The world grieved as though it had lost a friend, because in so many ways, Robin Williams had been one, guiding us through laughter, lifting us through pain, and leaving us with unforgettable reminders to seize the day, to cherish our loved ones, and to never underestimate the healing power of joy. There are artists who make us laugh, and then there are artists who make us feel, who reach so deeply into the shared pulse of humanity that their laughter becomes a language of healing. Robin Williams was that rare soul whose humor was not a mask, but a mirror, reflecting the light and shadow within us all. His performances were more than entertainment. They were moments of connection, acts of generosity born from an unspoken understanding that everyone carries battles unseen. Through every role, from the playful warmth of Mrs. Doubtfire to the quiet grace of Good Will Hunting, he reminded us that laughter and pain are not opposites, but companions in the same human story. And yet, beyond the camera lights and the sound of applause, Robin carried a depth of emotion few could imagine. His final years were marked by courage. The courage to face invisible storms while still gifting the world his brilliance. Even in the silence of his struggle, he continued to teach us something profound, that kindness, empathy, and joy are not performances, but choices. His passing in 2014 left an ache across the world, but it also left behind a legacy that refuses to fade. Because Robin Williams never truly left us, his spirit lingers in every laugh he inspired, every tear he drew, and every heart he healed without ever knowing it. So when we remember him, we do not mourn a loss. We celebrate a light that still burns in the art he gave and the humanity he shared. He showed us that even in the darkest corners of life, humor can be a form of hope and compassion, the most enduring form of courage. And perhaps that is Robin's truest gift to the world. The reminder that joy, when shared, can outlive even the man who gave it.